Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Flying Fluffy Hockey review of the Game 2 between Boston and Toronto last night, and also a preview of Game 2 between Florida and Tampa Bay tonight. So, every single playoff series has now played at least one game, and in the aftermath, Vegas is the only road team that won game one. So again, that is the Maple Leafs beat the Bruins 3-2 last night. The Islanders suffered a historic collapse and blew a 3-0 lead to lose 5-3 to the Hurricanes and go down 0-2 in the series for the Islanders. Golden Knights trolled the league again by not only winning 4-3 against the Stars, but also Mark Stone scored first. And then the Oilers, in a crazy back and forth game, well, the Oilers won 7-4.
Hey, everybody. I'll be with you in about 15 minutes.
There were a combined 9 goals in the second and third periods of the Kings-Oilers game. Also, the 76ers blew a 5-point lead with 32 seconds left. They gave up 2 consecutive threes to the Knicks to go down 2-0 in the series. Hello, JC. Bolvar says the Golden Knights were severely outshot. Vegas had 15 shots on goal and Dallas had 29. So that means Dallas had twice as many shots and still lost. So our rest in peace Islanders fans, because I don't know if the team is coming back from that embarrassing collapse by the Islanders. Yeah. The Hurricanes set a new NHL record for the fastest game-tying and winning goals scored in the third period of a playoff game. It was the 7th time that in NHL history that a team had tied and won the game in the final 3 minutes of a playoff game. Carolina was already on that list, having tied and beaten the Devils in the conference quarterfinal game in 2009. Bolvar says, I smell an Islanders choking bit coming once they're eliminated. Also, Coach Marie said that Lomberg is out with illness and and Lorentz will be drawing in for him. Hey, Strafossi, you're worried about the game tonight? Well, look, the Lightning are going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at us to avoid going down by 2 in the series. It's hilarious how right now the only series that is now 1-1 is Bruins and Maple Leafs. Bulver says, say what you want about the Mark Stone fiend, but my God, his conditioning is not there. Periods 2 and 3, he was heavily breathing every shift. Oh, geez. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about, like how there appears to be no goaltending at all in the entire Western Conference. I mean, that Jets Avalanche game was 7-6. The Preds had a 2-1 lead against the Canucks and then gave up 3 unanswered goals in the third period. So there's just a lot to talk about. And well, tonight the Panthers play the Lightning in game 2, and I had heard that the Lightning had gone for a full practice yesterday, and the Panthers had only done a half practice. Kenneth says the best we could have hoped for, a 1-1 series. Bolvar believes in terms of the whole Mark Stone fiend. This is the whole players feel bad leaving the team out to dry, so they come back early when they shouldn't be coming back, risking further injury. Well, I hope Mark Stone is at least being smart about it, as in if you lacerate your spleen, there have to be limits to what you are able to do on the ice. So, now, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I have to assume that the Bruins put Swayman in the next game, and do the Leafs stick with Samsonov? He might have earned another start with the performance he had last night. Let's see. Yeah. Vegas won yesterday 4-3. So not only did Mark Stone score first for Vegas, they ended up winning. Yeah, it took less than 90 seconds. It took less than 90 seconds for Mark Stone to score. Wolver says, "Dear NHL, whoever's horrible idea it was to put hockey playoff games on the same day as the NFL draft, I'd like to have a word." Bolvar says the hockey guy was very, very shocked in his post game. Which game was he covering? And by the way, what team does the hockey guy actually root for? I'm genuinely curious. Excuse me. No, Andrew, we're not streaming the NFL draft. There's hockey during the NFL draft. Trey, Boston lost. Boston lost 3-2. Oh, he roots for the Canucks. Okay, well, he must have enjoyed that. He must have enjoyed that third period comeback by the Canucks the other night. Oh, he likes Vancouver, Boston, and Dallas. So last night was not a good night for the hockey guy at all. Bolvar says, "I hope Nick enjoyed the Tomas Hurdle goal. We will use him well." Yeah, I mean the amount of salt. I heard that Mark Stone got booed every time he touched the puck out on the ice, and he even got booed during the first intermission interview. But for those of you who have been paying attention to the Western Conference Series, why have there been so many goals? Did all the goaltenders in the West? Did all the goaltenders in the West just forget how to goaltend? Hello, Mason. Hello, Mason. Did I see that Jokic's brother punched a fan? No, I did not. Okay, Bolvar. So again, for those of you who are not aware, Lomberg is out with illness. Lawrence will be drawing in tonight, so that's what. Let's see. So that's what. That's one update we have. I'm not sure. You have to assume that both Bob and Vazzy are the starting goaltenders again. Junkyard Dog claims that Connor Hellebuyck led in a weak goal So the Winnipeg Jets coach told their players, stop playing defensively. Andrew says, how do I say this about my team? The Lightning is tonight a must-win, not saying we played bad in game one, but curious on a Panthers fan opinion. So, well, my opinion is a 2-0 series lead for the Panthers certainly would give them a lot of momentum going into the road games against Tampa, but it's no guarantee that Tampa doesn't turn right around and win both in Tampa. So, Junkyard, people are hating Mark Stone. Well, they don't necessarily hate him. They hate that he got injured.
Loathe entirely.
I can't hear you, Dad. Give me a second. I'm trying to answer Junkyard Dog's question. How about?
I know.
Hey,
I know you were trying to answer his question. I said loathe entirely.
Mark Stone. So
I know who we're talking about. Huh? I remember that name. That's a pain in my nuts. Oh boy. All right. Shrek says the Caps in Florida Conference Finals is going to be exciting. Man, if there's one team that should not be losing to the other team, it's the Rangers should not be losing to the Capitals. How's everybody doing? I don't know, Kenneth. There's some Kyle just lets anybody into the house. Between Kyle and Fluffy, they just let anybody into the house.
How is everyone doing? So, I was talking about last night. There were not one but two different hilarious collapses. One going in the favor of a New York team, and one going horrifically wrong.
You're talking about the basketball game too, right?
Yeah, because
I was gonna say, what hockey game did I miss?
Because the Islanders were 81-0 when having a 3-0 leads in the playoffs.
Yep. So Colin says one of the keys for tonight's game 2. Andrew says, do we expect the Lightning to play with more energy tonight? Now, I am fully aware that you, in quotes, cannot live in fear. That said, I said this in the recap. I'm slightly, of course I want to win. Of course I want to win the game. But I also know that should we win tonight and have to go back to Tampa up 2-0, while I would love to do that, I do believe that will send Tampa to wake up to another level that should we lose tonight that maybe they don't wake up to. But I want to win the game. Don't get me wrong. But I think I'll be more nervous up 2-0 than I am up 1-0. Does that make any sense? Because I just until the series is over, until we have 4 wins, I'm just sitting here waiting at any second. I'm just waiting for Tampa to quote wake up. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I get it. Just win the game. Just win the game and move on. I expect Tampa at some point, to turn it on. And look at what happened last night. I mean, nobody would have thought Toronto was going to pull off a win in Boston after the first game and how all that went. So if the Panthers win tonight, I certainly expect Tampa to just be rocking and rolling. I guess that would be Thursday because it's every other day. Yeah, Thursday and then Saturday. So in terms of the keys for tonight, continue to do what we did in game 1, which is stay out of the box. we had a few penalties, but that's going to be the key the entire way, because it works both ways. If you take too many penalties, they get a couple power plays. Now they're getting goals. Now maybe you're behind. You've got to do some extra things. Maybe you commit more penalties. So what I said in the series preview, I'm sticking with it, which is just stay ahead in the game. Don't chase this team. Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I was just looking at the win probability for that Sixers and Knicks game. Here, let me I'll share the screen for 1 second.
All right. Oh, Andrew was going to say, can we all do the Lightning and Panther game in the end? Is that? Oh no, that's Thursday. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that to my hockey people.
So okay, so see this line in the middle of the screen. That's 76ers.
Right.
76ers, Knicks. That's 76ers.
Right.
At one point, they had like an 89% chance of winning.
Right.
And then, pew!
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happens.
What the Islanders did yesterday, that was just, you could kind of know it was going to be too good to be true. You kind of knew 3-0. It's like, man, are the Canes really going to do that? Are they really going to go down like that? And when it was 3-1, and then I went into the room to film the recap, and I heard you screaming, Kyle.
Yeah.
I even said it in the recap. I'm like, I bet you Carolina just scored, because I totally lost my train of thought, because I can usually hear you, but when you scream, you know how this house is. It echoes all the way through. That's why I had a feeling. And then they tie it, and Kyle and I are sitting there still streaming, and they tied it. And when they dropped the puck, I said, I bet you now the Canes are going to try to win it. And I barely got that out of my mouth, and they had scored another goal. It was what, in 9 seconds or 11 seconds?
It was 9 seconds.
9 seconds.
2 goals in 9 seconds. The Hurricanes set an NHL record for fastest game-tying and game-winning goal in the third period.
Yeah.
In the last 3 minutes.
It's so weird how that stuff like that happens. And so any chance now that the Islanders had in that series, that has to have blown it. How do you come back from that? Yeah, Andrew says the Islanders chokes, right? Trey, I got the clip. I had watched a video that had that clip. No, I don't think we're going to do a draft preview, because I have been checked out. I couldn't tell you. The Dolphins could have traded to for a couple of ham sandwiches, and I wouldn't know it right now. So, because between Ellie passing and taking care of Fluffy, I got just enough time for the hockey channel, and I got to take care of Kyle, everything. And he's a massive pain in the ass. Oh wait, you're still here? Shit. All right. No, Kyle's doing a really good job. Kyle, as I like to say, is the star of the show. Which, by the way, Kyle, since you're in some videos now in the regular video, you got to check the comment section every once in a while.
Yeah, I've been checking,
because people got questions for you. Somebody, I forget who it was. I think it was on yesterday's review. They wanted to know, I think your favorite movie, but there was something else. So yeah, check the comment sections. You got fans. All right. So, Trey. Mason, yeah. It's the temperature is right to be in here. It's a little bit warm today, but in terms of tonight, man, what did Kyle already let you guys know? Lomberg apparently is out, and I guess Lorentz is going to draw in. So, I love to see Lomberg play. He played a good game, but the last few times that Lorentz has been in, you could tell he's got fresh legs. You know what I mean? So I don't suspect we're going to lose too much that way. And I think much like we came out those first 10 minutes in game one, I would expect Tampa to come out tonight, first 5-7 minutes, and really take it to us. I would not be surprised if they scored first, which, for us, it doesn't really bother me all that much as long as just one goal. And then, we're going to have to get more shots. We won game one. It worked out. But, if we're going to consistently want to get enough goals to win these games, we should be having closer to 40 shots. I understand not getting 50, but closer to 40. You've got to take your shots at Vasilevsky. They were taking their good chances from outside early on. But that second period, man, both teams just shut it completely down. And eventually, at some point in this series, both teams are just going to shut it down for like 4 periods straight. No overtimes. All the series have one game at least now, right, Kyle?
Yeah, all the series have at least one game.
No overtimes in any of the first games. Dang it. Now I was really hoping, we weren't up last night, but I was kind of hoping after we went to bed and the Canes had beaten the Islanders, just said, maybe Vegas and Dallas will go. And that's what I was saying, guys. Is Lomberger's out tonight and Lorentz is in. Maybe I misspoke, but that's what I was trying to say anyway. But if anybody saw the highlights for Vegas and Dallas, the third goal that Dallas got was about as weak of a goal as you'll ever see an NHL goaltender give up. Logan Thompson, it was just a very weak shot. Mason Marchment and Logan Thompson kind of looked like he didn't take the shot seriously. It kind of looked a little bit like he was just like, all right, I'm just going to glove this. And it got past him. But so the point there is that they win the cup with Aiden Hill. And they start off with Logan Thompson, who to me, you're starting off with Logan Thompson basically so that you can say, we tried them, and eventually they're going to end up going back to Hill. But, a couple of these teams, it don't look like a whole lot's changed. Vegas, they look pretty good out there. Hurdle and Hannafin really, they showed up last night in the parts of the games that I saw. They were very, very noticeable. And, there's no defense in a lot of these teams too. I mean, look at what Edmonton did with the Kings. The Kings got a good defense. Edmonton gets 7. And the difference in style in the Western Conference, the defenses are just backing up and everything. And, coming out of the East, you're likely to get a Florida or a Carolina. I would not be surprised if that's the Eastern Conference Finals again. And so it looks again like you're going to end up with, the stingy defensive team versus whatever offensive juggernaut comes out of the West. If you get Edmonton looks ready to rock and roll. And then, you think, they're goaltending, right? But that's what we thought with Vegas last year. We're like, who the hell is Aiden Hill? Well, we know now. Go ahead, Tom.
So Adam Henrique, apparently, he scored a first period goal in the Oilers' 7-4 win against the Canes. And he set an NHL record for the longest span between playoff goals at 4,333 days. He last scored in Game 4 of the 2012 Stanley Cup Finals when he was playing for the New Jersey Devils.
Yes, Kyle. Yes. Yeah. Jeez. I remember Adam Henrique. He was a pain in our ass in that series against the Devils. That's the one we watched on the couch.
Yeah.
When we were at Florence Street. I had to get rid of that couch after that. I had the same couch for the 96 run and the 2000, the year we won the Southeast and we lost to the Devils. I had the same couch. It wasn't like the main couch anymore, but it was like, it was like the guy couch, the dog couch at that point. And then after we lost to the Devils in that one, I said, okay. And we got rid of that couch because that was enough trauma. I had enough bad juju. Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I was just saying, what the hell happened to the goaltending in the West?
I mean, look, McDavid and them. I mean, he put on some spinorama move. A lot of these teams are top heavy. I mean, Vegas won last year. They've got their depth. Edmonton is going to go with Skinner. You know what I mean? And that's their guy. Ottinger didn't look terrible last night, but I kind of think you're going to see completely different results in the games too. Game twos. You know what I mean? I think Winnipeg and we'll get things shut down. The Kings aren't going to allow 7 a night. I mean, Winnipeg and the Kings are two of the best defensive teams in the league, and they just got absolutely taken to the woodshed out there. And then, in terms of the East, the Rangers are most likely going to sweep the Caps. If the Capitals win a game, it's because the Rangers kind of yak it up. I don't know if the Islanders now can win a game. Carolina's going to smell blood right now. And so that leaves you with our series and the Boston Toronto series. And those could, I don't know what to make of what happened last night in the Boston game. Toronto just, it was weird. It was kind of weird to watch because it wasn't like they just come on. It wasn't like they just came on and boom, like how the Panthers are just turning on and all of a sudden they're just holy crap, it's a different team. It wasn't like that. It was as the game went on, Toronto just got a little bit better, and Boston never matched them. I kind of feel like Boston didn't take it seriously, like they were overconfident. Like they kind of felt whatever, we'll get one, we'll win this sucker in overtime, which is incredible to me since we did that to them. We beat them pretty good in game 2 last year. So you would think, right?
Yeah.
Logically, that they would have had a little get together before the game, be like, hey, remember last year when we kicked the Panthers' ass and we were overconfident and they beat our ass in game 2? Remember that? Don't let that happen again. And then they did. I mean, Boston wasn't bad, but they just did not answer as Toronto raised their intensity. Boston just kind of was just skating around, just okay. They never really met them, and it cost them. And so now that series, you go to Toronto, it's tied. The Leafs aren't sitting here thinking they can't win that series. I mean, they beat Tampa last year, right?
Yeah.
So they're not thinking that they can't win that series. So maybe that one, hopefully that one's going to go 6 or 7 games. That's good because that's the one that we're calling. And the Canes Islanders, I don't think that's going to be keep continuing on. Go ahead, Kyle.
Well, someone's here. Bonehead Days says that ESPN confirms that Andre Palat and Yanni Gourde will join the Bolts lineup for game 2.
What are they? That's interesting.
I don't see a report here though. I don't see.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he's that he. That's because they're not on the team.
Yeah,
that's because it's wishful thinking. Oh, my phone. Okay, my phone was. Somebody was calling me and it didn't want to. That's okay, boneheads. Yeah, I mean those names. They will make a Panther fan kind of trigger get triggered. But yeah, no, Kyle, that would not be good. that would not be good if that was the case, or at least if the old versions of those guys.
Kenneth says the Oilers are the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning.
Right.
Just defense sucks. Let's just outscore them.
Right. Kyle, take it for a second.
Andrew says game 3 and 4 is on TBS. No, we're not going to ban the jokester. Bonehead says, I can't wait to see when Sergachev comes.
Now that I know ain't happening. I don't know the intricacies of everybody's, lineup. And so if Tampa had somehow reacquired them at some point and had them on the bench and they weren't playing, I wouldn't know it. You know what I mean? Just like if I told you guys, well, not Mason Marchment, who was it? There was somebody that, well, anyway, I forget the point, but the point is that they probably wish that they could call those guys. Let's just put it that way. Tampa doesn't have the same, they don't line up the same as 5-on-5 as they used to, which is why a lot of the fans are complaining that there wasn't any power plays or wasn't enough power plays. I get it, right? I mean, when your team loses, you always feel like there were calls that were missed. When your team wins, you feel like it was fine. Yeah, if he would have said St. Louis and left, yeah, that definitely. Yeah, Yager's coming back for the game tonight. Barkov is out, and Stephen Weiss is actually going to be playing in his place. The thing about it, the thing that got me is the Yanni Gord. I hate that guy. Not hate him, but it's just like there were certain players that were just a massive pain in our ass. I'm sure. I'm sure when back in the day when Yager, went to the Panthers, I'm sure there were people that thought for sure it was an absolute troll job. I put Bob on LTR and pick up Bure. Darren Poopa, nah, jeez. Oh man. Well, look. So what do we got? We got this tonight. Now, then game 3 is Thursday. Game 4. Saturday, that's at 5:00. So they gave us another matinee game. And then directly after that game is game 4 for Boston and Toronto, right? Will that be their 4 or will that be their 5? They just had 2. So 3 will be, they're going to get a day off. They might, because nobody's playing on Friday. That's right. Well, some other teams are playing on Friday, but not Panthers or Bruins. Mason says, why do people make the excuse anyone can use LTIR to protect Vegas? Why would every team fake? I'm that whole LTIR thing. What I don't like about it is that like even the announcers acknowledge it. They side eye it, right? But like I think it was whoever it was, ESPN last night. The one dude was like, boy, Mark Stone's lacerated spleen sure looks fine now. So it's kind of like, everybody knows what's going on there. And it kind of makes a mockery of things. And there's ways that you could fix it. There's ways that you could change it. But the flip side to that is that if you fixed it, it could actually end up backfiring in a situation where a team legitimately has a guy that gets hurt and won't be back. You know what I mean? So you could say, for just argument's sake, you could say anybody that goes on season-ending LTIR after January or after February 1st can't come back for the playoffs. And that would sort of eliminate some of the stuff like with Stone and everything. But what if that player got it, January, February, March, right? What if they legitimately had an injury that was 2 to 3 months and they would need the time to come back, but they'd be ready for, first round-ish. So it's hard to fix it without penalizing teams and players that would legitimately need it. And to me, that's what the issue is. You think about it with Ekblad, right? I mean, with Ekblad, we don't have to fake it. You know what I mean? But if he dings himself, mid-February, 3 weeks before the trade deadline, you can LTIR him. You can go out there and see what you can do to fill the spot, and you don't have to, bring him back. But I don't know. I don't. It's one of those things where it's just like I don't like it, but I understand it. Now, Snur says, just make teams cap compliant during the playoffs. I mean, again, that would penalize the teams that have a legitimate injury. Ekblad gets hurt mid-March, mid-February, whatever it is. It's going to be out 2 months, right? So you can't go out and get a replacement for him because he's going to be ready for the playoffs. The way I've kind of thought about it, and I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I remember one time I was sitting down thinking about it, and I kind of came up with a convoluted half-ass system where you maybe you use like a percentage-wise of a type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to put a guy that makes $7 million on LTIR and you're going to bring him back for the playoffs, like you can't replace him with another $7.5 million player. Like you can only replace him with a guy that makes half that or a third that. Or you can do something like if you have a guy on LTIR, this one I might like actually. If you have a guy on LTIR that's going to come back for the playoffs, when you acquire a player, if that player is going to put you over the salary cap, the other team is not allowed to eat salary in the trade. So you can't go get a $5 million guy that's going to put you over the cap in the playoffs, but you get to keep him because the other team takes 80% of the salary. Now that might cause some other issues, but I think everybody would kind of like to find some sort of a solution to that because, you could say have the league doctors prove that they're hurt and everything like that. And I don't know how many people would really just trust the league doctors in terms of that. Go ahead, Colin.
Well, one couple of things. First, I think the main thing that pisses people off about the whole Vegas thing is that it keeps happening. Like Mark Stone specifically keeps getting injured every year, and then the Knights acquire a bunch of pieces at the deadline, and then Mark Stone comes back for the playoffs. This has happened now 3 times in the last 4 years, and it only did not happen the 1 year because the Golden Knights missed the playoffs.
Right.
But
sorry, Kyle. So Kenneth says, I'm not sure because eating salary is usually the only way that allows trades to go through and is a factor. I think the rule would be, and again, this is sketchy, but if a team has a guy on LTIR and they plan on bringing him back for the playoffs, now they're going to acquire a new player. There should be a way to have a system where under those circumstances, the other team can only – no, that's what we got now. Jeez, never mind. Go ahead, Kyle. It's a big problem because 10 people could get into a room and want to solve the problem, and everybody's got a solution, and it works and doesn't work for various reasons.
True says Mark Stone has the same back issues I have, except he has unlimited insurance and doctors to work on it. Also, random aside, with early in the third quarter at the 10-minute mark, the Los Angeles Lakers had a 20 points lead over the Denver Nuggets and proceeded to blow it and lose the game 101-99.
Jeez. Somebody ban Trey. Jesus, Trey. I got a funny story about OJ. One of you or two of you might know this one. Way, way, way back in the day, during the whole OJ thing, that's when Phil Hendry was the radio personality at WYOD. And he did the voices, and he did a lot of sarcasm and sketchy stuff. And for a week, he advertised that he was having a free OJ rally underneath one of the bridges at the Palmetto Expressway. It was a free OJ rally. And he got all these people all pissed off about how can you want, OJ's guilty, everything else. And the media showed up and all of that crap. And he was giving away free orange juice.
Yeah, I knew that was coming, but it's still hilarious.
Yeah, and he pulled it off too, man. I mean, the police showed up for security, and the media showed up there, and he had a bunch of free orange juice. Or he was what? It was free OJ. What'd you all think I was talking about? That's a true story too. So Phil, it was a different time back then, man. I missed that time because you could just have fun, and everybody just went along with it. It was funny to everybody. But so anyway, yeah, back to the game tonight. Hey, I asked the question the other day. I didn't get it. Is it still 40? Is it $40 to park at the arena? Is that the price? Is it 35 or is it $40? The juice was flowing. Yeah. The other thing somebody asked me about is if I thought Stolars was going to get in, and because they're kind of looking at Olmark and Swayman. I think if Swayman gets a win in Game 3, that they should just leave him in. Swayman, in my opinion, looked a little bit better, and considering that, I mean, I know supposedly Olmark was hurt last year, but considering how it went against Florida last year, and the fact that it's likely that they're going to move on from Olmark over the season, I would think that they're going to go. I personally would stick with Swayman. But in terms of Stolars, I don't know when the right time to do it would be. You know what I mean? And generally speaking, I think Bob's going to want to play every game. We talked about it yesterday. If you get up 3-0 in a series, maybe you want to throw Stolars out there. I think you save it for if we get into an overtime situation. If you get more than one overtime deep, you get 2, 3, 4 overtimes deep. I think you throw Stolars out there, but you never know with Maurice. Basically, he's gonna ask Bob, and if Bob says he's ready to go, and how Bubba has been, if he feels like anybody might be sniffing down his starting spot, his play rocket ships. So I just want to see him continue to play well. He looked good the other night, looked flexible. His anticipation is so good now because he's not as fast as he was in Columbus. If you watch the highlights, I mean, he's 35. So if you watch the highlights, I mean, he was like lightning quick in Columbus. But now, like that Stamkos one-timer that he stopped, it's his anticipation. And as long as our defense is playing so aggressively, why that works is because the defense is playing so aggressively so the other team doesn't have as much time with the puck to make moves. They got to keep moving the puck. So it is difficult to take advantage of the goalie's anticipation, even if he's anticipating. If the goalie, if Trey made me lose my train of thought. Trey, you got me. The point is that the way the Panthers play the defense and the way that Bob can move and anticipate, it works so far. So far, so good. In terms of the second round, it's just a question for you guys. And yeah, Trey, 35 means your best days are behind you. My question for you all, after having seen a couple of games of Boston and Toronto, any preference developed for any of you Panther fans so far? Kyle, you included with that?
A preference? Are you asking?
Talking about round 2. Talking about have you developed any preference for who you would like to play in round 2 after watching the first 2 games of the Boston-Toronto series?
No comments.
That's it. No comment. I mean, I think for me, I think I'd rather play Toronto. No, not just the goaltending. I know Samsonov. He picked it up last night. He played a really, really good game, and he kind of almost stole that game a little bit for them. But in terms of if we manage to get past Tampa, Boston with the 2 goaltenders, that's a situation where either one of those guys can go on a Vasilevsky-esque type of run, even though Swayman hasn't really done that in the postseason. But It's a small favoritism. You know what I mean? If it continues the way it did last night, that would flip. But Boston really surprised me. They did not rise to the occasion last night. I really thought that they were going to get that game tied. I kind of felt we were going to be going in for a long overtime. But I don't know. You guys tell me. It didn't feel like Boston wanted that one as much as Tampa did last night, or excuse me, as much as Toronto did last night. Go ahead,
1776 Stanley C. Panthers says, can't worry about round 2. Must get through round 1.
If I think about round 2, I don't have to think about how worried I am about round 1. That you'll understand that when you get older, Chris. As you get older, you find new and unique ways to trick yourself into not having as much anxiety as you really do. Yeah, now what Nick says is true. Let's see. Catherine says, hopefully not Boston because you can't afford TD Garden tickets. Yeah, I can imagine so. True says, I want Toronto, but damn, Vegas did look scary last night. Their question's going to be the goaltending. They looked good. There's no doubt. It's always hard to compare how those offensive teams like Edmonton and whatnot, how they look versus other teams versus how they would look against the Panthers, because, you know, very similar to what Tampa did to us in the President's Trophy season. You know, we had this high-flying offense, right? And we couldn't do anything against Tampa. And they just shut us down because their defense was that good. So it's hard to compare, but certainly if it goes the way it did last night, is it set up so if Vegas and Edmonton win, is that who would play each other, or is that no? I didn't see all the final seedings. I obviously didn't pay as close attention to the Western Conference as I do the East. So what's the matchups should it go that way? Kind of says no. I had a feeling. I was too good to be true, right? That's probably the Western Conference Finals then, maybe. Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I was just looking up the NHL playoff bracket. We got it would be the winner of Oilers Kings plays the winner of the Vancouver and Nashville.
Oh, jeez.
So,
all right. So that means Edmonton makes it to the finals, or the Western Conference Finals.
I picked Nashville to come out of that scrum, but
are you okay? Wait, you picked Nashville to come out of both rounds?
Yeah, I believe I did.
Dang, man. You didn't put any money on that, did you?
No. Also, the Winnipeg and Colorado winner will go up against the Dallas and Vegas winner.
Okay. All right, so that could still go either way. Right. That'd be a good series. We'll try to cover that one if we can, Kyle. Right? Yeah. So Trey says yes. So Vegas road to the final is Dallas, Winnipeg, and Edmonton. If that's not a cakewalk, I don't know what is.
Those
Dallas,
are the exact same teams they beat last year. Actually,
Dallas is Dallas. The Stars. I think I said this in a video. I think it was a shtick in one of my videos during the off season about how the Stars are like the Cowboys, where they just make the playoffs every year, make you think they're gonna. This is the year, and then they just putz out in the playoffs. And I kind of, I just wonder if Vegas was pulling what the Panthers pulled, where, they just kind of, we're just going to, we're going to rest a little bit and take it easy and just get in, Trey says the Stars and the Leafs in green sweaters. No, the Stars are actually good.
The Stars are actually good.
Yeah,
the Stars have won the Stanley Cup in the last 50 years.
Yeah. Well, this year it needs to. I don't know who I even want to play at this point. I just want to win tonight. You know what I mean? each series is its own individual thing. I mean, look at what happened after the Panthers beat the Canes last year. I mean, most of the media was talking about how it was the Panthers looked destined. You know what I mean? And injuries come up. You don't even know the guys are hurt. You hear about it after the season. It's like they're playing with torn labrums and broken feet and all of this crap. And just makes you realize that when they're not playing, which, by the way, does anybody know exactly what's wrong with Nylander? We were asking on the stream last night. I mean, have they at least confirmed it's like lower body? I haven't. I had a lot heard it all, but I would just assume it would be something that would make it so he couldn't skate because, if your arm is broke, you can still play with one arm, right, Chucky? Yeah, they're keeping it quiet, Kenneth. That's interesting. Bet you that's a groin. That's a groin, right? Guy that's usually healthy all of a sudden has to take some time off. They want to keep it real quiet. That's a groin. And it makes sense, too, if that's what it was, because, you don't want to send them out there with a wishy-washy groin because, one bad move and he's done for the whole playoffs. You know what I mean? Ring says, when I worked in a recording studio in South Florida, a client recorded a very vulgar song about Jerry Jones. Chris, I don't know. We need to run a poll. Who's got the more inappropriate comebacks, Trey or Chris? Right? Go ahead, Kyle. Get us close to the finish line here.
Well, the whole Nylander thing, must be infuriating to the Leafs fans because he played all 82 games in the regular season and then misses the first 2 games of the playoffs. I mean, the Leafs won last night, though.
Yeah,
that should concern Boston. The Leafs beat them without Nylander.
Yeah. No, Boston looked weird last night, man. That was as that game went on. They just did not pick up the effort. He just kind of kept waiting for them to get irritated enough to do it. And they just never did. So he hasn't missed in 4 years. Jeez. So we're going, we go live 1 hour before puck drop tonight. We're the late game tonight. We're 7:30. So we'll be live at 6:30 and then we'll hang out. And then of course, the other game starts a half hour. It's is it Rangers Capitals that starts before us?
Yes, Rangers Capitals.
Yeah. So we'll putz around watching that game a little bit before we have our puck drop. Kyle, wake up, man. Huh?
I'm here.
I let you sleep to 10:15. Huh?
Well,
here we go.
I was awake like before 9 because you've kept waking me up. Now I just wake up at that.
Oh, well, you can't get out of bed if you wake up before I knock on your door to get you out of bed. You do know you can do that, right?
Well, I mean, I tried to fall back asleep. Get a couple extra swings.
Trey says, you all remember what Ray Finkel's mom said about Marino. Remind me. I'm going to know it as soon as you say it, but.
Let's see.
Yeah, Kyle sleeps, but he stays up. He stays up late. He's a night owl. I'm sleeping downstairs with Fluffy. I wake up at 3 because I got to go take a leak, and I hear him walking around upstairs because his bedroom is right above where I'm sleeping with Fluffy now.
So, I just wanted to ask the chat which is more hilarious of we had 3 different collapses in between hockey and basketball last night. Which is the most hilarious and or tragic? The Islanders blowing a 3-0 lead after previously being 81-0 as a franchise in the playoffs with that goal advantage and losing to the Canes. The Lakers blowing a 20-point lead in the second half of their game against the Nuggets, or the Sixers being up by 5 with 32 seconds left.
Yeah, I
and
think
giving up 2 consecutive 3-pointers.
I think everybody agrees it's the Isles. I think the chat has spoken. I agree too. Just to lose it that way, man. It's 3-0. It's a playoff game. Just shut it down,
Yeah.
And to allow that winning goal 9 seconds to go, and
Well,
then
you
all
mean
the
9
garbage that
seconds?
came after, right?
No, was allow the game winning goal with 9 seconds after they scored the game tying goal.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. But
so
Trey. Yeah, I also have one of the top goalies and can't hold Canes for 10 seconds. Yeah, it was a damn shame, man. That's the kind of thing. How do you come back from that? Like, that's just gonna crush the soul of the fan base.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably not expecting to win the cup, right? But hell, make it a series, and now we'll find out. The next 2 games are in New York, so if they're gonna get any energy, they're gonna have to get it quick. But the Canes look good out there, man. They look like they're on a mission. They're gonna be pissed off if we play them. Right?
Maybe the Islanders will have more than 12 shots on goal next game.
Right. Jason says they didn't realize Uyghur played for the Isles until last night. Oh, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. I'm going to let Kyle go get – did you eat breakfast yet? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, no nappy. Go mow some grass, okay? Well, got to do something. So, all right, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate it. And like I said, we'll be live 1 hour before puck drop tonight. Got to get this one tonight. You got to get them all, right? But this one you need because, Tampa's gonna kick it up to another notch, and the Panthers eventually will kick it up to another notch as well. But you get ahead 2-0 in this series, even though it kind of makes me a little bit nervous about how we were going to piss off the Lightning. You still got to do it. You can't live in fear. Don't be like me. Don't live in fear. So, and Nick's, don't forget True World, who helped me out on the music video. Helped me out. He did all, he did the guitar playing and he did the backup singing and everything. Go make sure you check out his channel. The link is in the description to that music video. Help him get monetized. He wants to be able to do some live streams and take tips and everything like that. And I understand how difficult that can be. I feel bad. I'll be honest with you. I never talk about this, but I feel bad for the Locked On Panthers kid. I don't know him. He's never reached out to me, but the poor kid has been making videos every day for 2 years, and he's still at 757 subscribers. I saw that the other day. One of his videos came up in the feed, and I'm just like, damn. And I understand how tough it is because that's about the number I was stuck at before I started streaming. I was stuck at 754 for forever. And then I started streaming, and that's what moved things around. But so help him out. Help him get. You only need 500 subscribers these days to be able to do a live stream where you take super chats and everything. So Nick needs a new guitar, right? All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support, and we'll see you 1 hour again before puck drop.
Okay. See ya.